We're going to go straight to Ahmad Shahidov, who is the head of the Azerbaijan Institute for Democracy and Human Rights. He is live for us from Baku. Really great to have you with us. I want to first start by getting your reaction to these developments that we're seeing this evening.
Yes, good evening, and I greet you from Gakh region of Azerbaijan. So, as expected, the war in Nagorno-Karabakh ended today, and we were waiting for that moment, because after the liberation of Shusha city, the war reached its logical end, and the Armenian government was forced to officially admit its defeat in battleground. And a couple hours ago, Armenian Prime Minister Nicole Pashinyan made an official statement on his Facebook and Twitter page, and he stated that an agreement has been signed between the President of Russia, Prime Minister of Armenia, and the President of Azerbaijan. So details of this agreement have not yet been announced, but it means a victory for Azerbaijani nation. So Azerbaijan has been able to liberate much of its territory in the Nagorno-Karabakh region over the past 50 days, and after that the negotiation process between the conflicting sides will begin, and with Russia and Turkey being the main mediators in these talks. So I think that the main subject of these talks is the official recognition of the territorial integrity of Republic of Azerbaijan, then the return of Azerbaijani refuse to their historical lands, and the establishment of coexistence in the region in Nagorno-Karabakh. You know, Azerbaijan has always stated that Armenians and Azerbaijanis should live together in Nagorno-Karabakh and surrounded regions, and this area is the lands of the Republic of Azerbaijan, and all the people living there, including Armenians and Azerbaijanis, are citizens of Republic of Azerbaijan, and the Azerbaijani state is ready to give equal rights to all people, to all representatives, to all nations living on its territory. And this is the official position of the Azerbaijan and Armenia, Republic of Armenia. Armenian authorities was finally forced to accept the historical realities, the demands of international law. Unfortunately, they realized this too late. After suffering heavy losses, official Yerevan decided finally to start negotiations with Azerbaijan. Still, I think that's still not too late, and expressing its peace-loving policy, Azerbaijan again prefers negotiated settlement of this conflict, and of course we are trying to build the future of Nagorno-Karabakh together with Armenians living in this region, with all neighbor countries, and provided that the territorial integrity of the countries is ensured. So Azerbaijan wants to live in peace with all its neighbors, and at the same time preserve its territorial integrity recognized by international community, by international law. You know, there are 4 UN Security Council resolutions adopted in 1993 and 1994 regarding the situation in Nagorno-Karabakh, and all these statements, all these resolutions demand immediately withdraw all external troops from occupied Nagorno-Karabakh and surrounded areas which belongs to the Republic
Ahmad,
of
if I could
Azerbaijan.
interject for a second, Armenia's prime minister, when he said this, he announced that he said he used the words painful to describe signing this deal. But when you talk about the fact that the civilian loss of life in this conflict and how brutal it's been, what do you think the overriding sense of the feeling is on the ground there? Is it relief?
In his Facebook statement, Prime Minister of Armenia said that it's a painful decision for himself, for the Armenian nation. Of course, he's right, because over the past 30 years, different Armenian authorities, different presidents, prime ministers of the Republic of Armenia made propaganda to its nation, to Armenian nation, about so-called wish about Great Armenia from sea to sea, about to capture new areas, I mean Azerbaijan territories, and recognition, international recognition of so-called Republic of Artsakh, so-called Nagorno-Karabakh Republic. But over the last 30 years, Azerbaijan tried to push Armenian authorities to respect the international law, to respect the UN Security Council resolutions. And over the past 30 years, Azerbaijani side tried to call and push all international communities to respect these resolutions, to respect these international principles and norms. Unfortunately, there were no positive results during these 30 years, and we have mediating co-chairs. We call OSCE Minsk Group co-chairs, which includes Russia, France, and US, and the activity of this OSCE Minsk Group was very negative, and by time we observed that some of these co-chairs, in particular US and France, has lost their neutrality, because mediator countries should be neutral and to act like NATO countries. So during April 2016 provocation on front line, during this year's July provocation, and finally during the last provocation by Armenian armed forces on Sunday 27th of September, Azerbaijan launched counter-offensive operations, military operations, and finally to start liberate its international recognized lands from Armenian occupation. I think it's the sovereign right of Azerbaijan to liberate its territories from Armenian occupation. But anyway, we stand for peace and to start peace negotiations with Armenia. But Azerbaijan has the concrete preconditions for that. The official Yerevan Armenian authorities should recognize the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan. This is the first precondition put by Azerbaijan. The second point is withdraw all Armenian soldiers, all Armenian troops from Nagorno-Karabakh and other surrounded occupied regions of Azerbaijan. And then we can start peace negotiations. Over the past 50 days, Armenian authorities try to by these provocations and try to keep the status quo. I want to remind the 3 times ceasefire agreements reached between the conflicting sides in Moscow and in US. Unfortunately, after these ceasefire agreements, Armenia deliberately violated the ceasefire and fired the civilian citizens of Azerbaijan, civilian settlements in the territory of Azerbaijan. Unfortunately, there are more than 90 civilians killed, and more than 400 civilian Azerbaijanis were wounded during these provocations. What should Azerbaijan do? Of course, we have to use our sovereign right to defend our civilians, defend our citizens, at the same time to destroy these fire points of Armenian. And over the past 50 years, Azerbaijan launched very successful military operations and has liberated much part of Nagorno-Karabakh, and finally today Armenian authorities admit their defeat in the battleground and announced that they are ready to start peace negotiations with Azerbaijan. I hope that the results of these negotiations will be positive for Azerbaijan, because the Azerbaijan is right side. Azerbaijan has to restore its territorial integrity, international recognized borders, state borders, and at the same time we will have the peace and prosperity in Nagorno-Karabakh, where the Azerbaijanis, where the Armenians will live together again in the frame of the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan.
Ahmad Shahidov, we really appreciate you being with us. I want to cross over to our correspondent once again, Hassan Abdullah, who's been tracking these